From the ashes of humble beginnings, rise the sense of regeneration, signaling the dawn of a new age. The foundations of the old and antiquated, now demolished, and in its place the newly built pillars of fearlessness and opportunity. Dreams are clearer, expectations are set higher, and the quest for championship gold is even stronger than it's ever been before. At one time or another, everything goes through a period of evolution. The world of wrestling is no different. Welcome to a new age. Welcome to a new era. Welcome to a new FWE.
Tickets made of stardust, gold ropes in the clouds, mask of a phoenix, I walk through the crowd, glitter in the rafters, drums in my chest, name on the crystal, tonight I'm a guest.
On the grounds of the Walt Disney World theme park here in Orlando, Florida, we are pleased to welcome you to tonight's Fantasia PLE. I'm Seth Cole, alongside of the Wayfinder Cruiser Champion, my broadcast colleague Jack Mitchell. And Jack, it's amazing that this far into our journey of fantasy wrestling entertainment, we can continue to say the word first. Our first return to a PLE. The first time we will crown an Iron Queen champion and a Universal Heavyweight champion, and our first PLE on Sunday nights.
It really goes to show you how far we've come here in FWE. The first time we had a PLE, it was back at the original Fantasy Dome. We didn't even go to a different venue, so it's crazy to look back and see how far we've come along, and looking forward to all these firsts that we have in store here tonight, as you said.
And we are going to be covering matchups here tonight from two different brands, Thursday Night Throwdown and Saturday Night Smash. As beginning the evening, we are going to be seeing a triple threat for the Men's Disney Tag Team Championships. Ed and Eddie, the family, have fight a war on two fronts. You've got Thursday's representatives with the Thrill Seekers, Saturday's representatives with the Gotham Inmates.
Flynn Rider and Carlos Zimmerman, they're going to go one-on-one tonight. The DC Intercontinental Championship is going to be hanging in the balance. Can Carlos Zimmerman retain in his first defense? We're going to find out.
Tag team titles will be on the line on the women's side. This new attitude for Toxic Attraction, a victory in a no disqualification tag match last week, now has them fighting the Daughters of Thanos for the belts.
How about this one? An underground street fight. Kratos and Thanos have been going to war on Saturday nights trying to find out who the bigger man is, and we're going to get an answer tonight. It's probably one of the most brutal matchups that we'll see here in FWE.
And we're going to run it back from Combat Evolved when we saw Wonder Woman, the new United States champion, and the 333-day reign of Matt McIntyre. He gets his title rematch, but tonight, it's a steel cage match.
This is one I'm looking forward to as well. I've been hosting open challenges on Saturdays. Dr. Facilier was the most recent one to answer, and he pinned me in the middle of the ring, so we're getting the rematch here tonight. This time, the Wayfinder Cruiser Championship hanging in the balance.
For the first time in his career, Robbie Gilvin is in the world title picture. His first opportunity to claim the FWE Tri-Wizard Championship, but he'll have to go through the champion, William Turner.
And in our main event tonight, Thor, Peter Pan, Cole Eastwood, and Levi McIntyre clash in a fatal four-way match to determine the first ever FWE Universal Heavyweight Championship. That tournament has been going on all Saturday nights, and it comes to a head here tonight in our main event.
One of two brand new belts that will be awarded here tonight. Our opener this evening is going to be the Women's Iron Queen Championship. The two finalists, Jasmine and Elizabeth Swan get ready to do battle here tonight at Fantasia.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the Women's World Championship. Making her way to the ring, representing the crew from Kingston, Jamaica, Elizabeth Turner.
Well, I've already used and abused the word first tonight. Jack, let me add one more to you here. This is a unique situation. Ever since the brand expansion, we've never had two world championships on both the men's and the women's side before. Elizabeth Swan is a former holder of the Universal Championship. If she wins tonight, she'd be the first person ever in FWE to hold two separate world championships.
She's going to be doing everything she can to get back here to the top in FWE. Remember, it was a 162-day reign for her when she had that Universal Championship in hand. Really been on a tear as of late as well, so this will be a tough challenge for her, though, as she tries to return to the top.
Both women had to go through a tournament to advance here into the finals. Elizabeth Swan was able to defeat Maleficent in her opening qualifier, had to defeat both Snow White and Ursula in the semifinals.
And her opponent, representing the Queen from Babylon, the Diamond Princess.
First time that Jasmine will be in the world title picture in her career, a former hardcore champion. Her path was just as arduous, though maybe not quite as tough since there were no triple threats along the way, but was able to defeat Black Widow in her opening qualifier, would then go on to defeat Ellie Williams in the semifinals.
Jasmine certainly feels like she needs this one again. Obviously, you know, she recently had her standing within the Disney Queens faction come into question lately. Ended up winning the hardcore title briefly, but would drop it to Kita. Now desperate to try to regain some control here of a world championship, and she would do that if she were able to win here tonight against Elizabeth Swan. This is going to be a good matchup. This is not going to be an easy task for either of these two.
And it's interesting how things kind of come full circle, because you mentioned about that 162-day reign that Elizabeth Swan had. Well, it was Mulan who ended that at Paramount. I'll embellish on that a little bit more here in a moment. Let's head down for introductions and our ring announcer, Mike Rome.
Guess Mike Rome was not interested in the introductions there.
I guess not. All right, so it's interesting. I was going to bring up the point here as we get the finals of the Iron Queen tournament underway here tonight at Fantasia. Mulan ended that 162-day reign of Elizabeth Swan at Paramount in that 2 out of 3 tables match. Here tonight, having to go through yet another Disney Queen, Jasmine, looking to end any hopes of Elizabeth Swan gaining a world title here on Thursday night, and looking to also be only the second Disney Queen to hold a world title alongside of Mulan.
Definitely a lot of stake here. You can already see the test of strength. We got those collar and elbow tie-ups. Somebody was pushed up against the ropes, so here we go. These two going to be wearing each other out in the early goings.
Jasmine with the early advantage in the power game, it seems, and now Elizabeth Swan firing back, pushing Jasmine into the corner. Referee Ernest Drake going to intervene, break them up with Jasmine up against the ropes, and big right hand going to stun Jasmine in the corner for the time being here.
Probably worth noting as well, this matchup, there are going to be DQs, there are going to be countouts, and there's not a champion's advantage situation because the title was just introduced, so it's vacant. What in the world is Elizabeth Swan thinking here?
Got Jasmine perched up there on the top rope, up there herself, and Poison Rana from the top.
Already getting it. This is awesome.
We just got started, fans. Calm down, pace yourselves.
Cover is in. Swan's trying to win the title early, but a kick out of one by Jasmine.
You know, I mentioned about the roads that both of these two individuals had to travel to get here to the finals. Let's not forget Elizabeth Swann in that triple threat match with Ursula and Snow White. It went rather lengthy, and both these women had their respective semifinal matches on the same night. Would the longevity of Elizabeth Swann's matchup put her at a slight physical disadvantage coming into tonight's finals here at Fantasia?
I think that's a very fair question to ask, especially when you consider the fact that, again, I talked about this too the last few shows that we had on Thursday and Saturday. This is the first time that we've had a Sunday PLE the same weekend as our go-home shows for both brands. So it's definitely going to be a bit of an endurance test for everybody who's wrestling tonight, because you have to have those final matchups at the Fantasy Dome back on Thursday or Saturday, and then you got to make your way here by Sunday. So travel, that whole sort of thing, that's going to be a question for everybody here.
Oh, big knee right up under the jaw by Jasmine after she hit a full Nelson suplex on the outside, and now introduces those steel steps. You mentioned about disqualifications being a thing. Also countouts, as you see referee Ernest Wright is already up to a 3 count here. Certainly you would hate to see after this tournament the winner end up getting the title via a countout, but it's just as good as a pinfall or a submission.
It is. Again, no champion's advantage with a vacant title, so these two can maybe try to exploit that a little bit if they really want to. You know, it's not necessarily the same as a pinfall or a submission victory, but it'll count just as much.
Referee up to a count of 7. Elizabeth Swann will get back into the ring, but a lot of damage done to her on the outside, courtesy of Jasmine, who now goes to work on the inside, and another full Nelson suplex.
So full Nelson suplex now going up to the middle rope, but that diving attack did not connect. Big drop kick there.
Gotta wonder about the experience level between these two, and I don't mean experience level in terms of in-ring, as both have about the same tenure here in FWE, but maybe in terms of these big situations, these big fight feels. Obviously, Elizabeth Swann's been to the top of the mountain, but only just recently after we saw Jasmine win the hardcore title have we kind of seen her caliber of matches be a little bit higher up on the card.
And that's what happens when you hold the title for 162 days. Target on your back gets bigger and bigger, and there's a lot more people pushing for you and trying to take your belt as a splash move connects. Cover is in, kick out at 2.
That was indeed a splash. I do not believe that was the Swan dive, which is Elizabeth Swann's finishing maneuver, and springboard moonsault there. I believe she connected with Jasmine, but it looked like it took just as much out of her as it did out of Jasmine.
Really good suplex there, and Elizabeth Swann gonna roll outside the ring. Jasmine not gonna wait for her either.
Perched on that top rope.
Oh boy.
Oh, missile drop kick to the outside. That's an extra few feet there to the floor below than just hitting somebody that's standing inside of the ring on that elevated mat.
And it was a dangerous maneuver too, because if Jasmine was just a little bit short in that move, the back of her head could hit the top of that ring post on the way down.
Oh, went for a springboard drop kick, and that time Elizabeth Swann able to sidestep. I've just noticed here, and I'm guessing it might have been due to the interaction on the outside. Elizabeth Swann has been busted open, looks like just underneath her left eye, and you certainly have to wonder if that starts to swell up. That could be a visibility problem the longer this matchup goes.
Absolutely. I mean, it's annoying enough to try to deal with blood in your face and, you know, the blood gushing down your forehead or something like that, but when your eye starts swelling up, that's even more of a problem there.
Hurricane Rana from the top rope by Jasmine into the cover, looking to become the inaugural Iron Queen champion, and a kick out at 1 by Elizabeth Swann.
I'm not going to allow her too much time to rest either.
You just got to think for both of these women, all the women that participated in this tournament, if they had gotten to this point, what it means to call yourself the first woman to hold a brand new title as Jasmine up onto the top rope, might be setting up for Desert Wind, connects!
That could be it.
Does not go for the cover.
You thinking about another one?
Back up to the top, maybe go for a double dose. Desert Wind connects again, hooks the leg, and all that's left to be said is all hail the Iron Queen. documented it before the bell even rang. At a point in her career, Jasmine's status in the Disney Queens was hanging by a thread. Fast forward to tonight, she can call herself a world champion.
Not just that, she could say something that none of the other members of the FWE roster have any claim to. She was the only person that could say she was the first ever Iron Queen champion. An incredible accomplishment for her tonight here at Fantasia.
Congratulations to Jasmine as she will be celebrating the rest of the night. The question is, will the family be doing the same? The biggest threat that Ed and Eddie have had to these tag team title belts so far is they not only have to take on one team, but two.
Yeah, we haven't really seen anything like this in quite some time. The Thrill Seekers and the Gotham Inmates have both laid claims to being #1 contenders, and the FWE higher-ups said they are both worthy of it, so we're getting the triple threat here tonight.
The following contest is a triple threat tag team match and is for the Men's Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challenger at a combined weight of 504 pounds, and Joe
Penguin on the left, Joker on the right. They have been on a tremendous tear in the tag team division on Saturday night. And it's interesting too. You kind of look at their resume in the last month or so. Maybe, in my opinion, the biggest thing, the biggest feather in their cap coming into this matchup is they already hold a tag team victory over the family faction. Albeit not the two individuals they're facing tonight, but they've already kind of driven a nail into the family right now with a W.
And if they have, I mean, you remember the other week, they were basically given a challenge by the family. If they could defeat Matt McIntyre and Double D, they would be given this opportunity here tonight. But I guess, like I said, the higher-ups felt that both them and the Thrill Seekers, considering the run the Thrill Seekers have been on, were also worthy of competing for the tag team titles here. You got to wonder what the Gotham Inmates' reaction to that is as well, and maybe the Thrill Seekers too. If they haven't necessarily been paying full attention to what's going on the other brand, they might necessarily be thrown off by the fact that there are two tag teams being given #1 contendership.
Changes your strategy completely for sure.
at a combined weight of 423 pounds, Dylan
Well, one difference between the two respective challenging duos is that Joker and Penguin have not suffered a loss to the current tag team champions. However, the Thrill Seekers back at Combat Evolved, they fell prey to the family and were unsuccessful in claiming the tag team belts. With everything you just mentioned and now them having to try and win it in triple threat rules, plus also having in the back of their mind that they are already 0-1 against the current tag champs, what does that do maybe for the psyche of the Thrill Seekers coming into this matchup?
You got to remember the success that you've had against the family in the past as well, because they have had tag team victories over the family. It just wasn't for the title, so that's something that they're going to have to keep in the back of their mind, is that they know they can beat them. But Gotham Inmates, it's going to be a completely different story. Again, with this being triple threat rules, the current champions don't have to be involved in the decision to win the match.
119 days, Ed and Eddie have held these Disney Tag Team Championships, and you see them accompanied by Double D. Let's also not lose sight of the fact here that under triple threat tornado tag rules, there are no disqualifications, so we could end up seeing members of the family interfering here to make sure that the gold stays in the faction.
I'm going to be completely honest. I almost feel like this is the matchup that the family should put all their eggs into right now. If you want to put all their eggs into one basket, it should be this match, because they know that Matt McIntyre's matchup for the U.S. title later tonight inside of a steel cage. All family members have been barred from ringside.
First pinfall, first submission will either retain or for the very first time gain the tag team title belts. The Thrill Seekers and the Gotham Inmates so far have never been able to get their hands on those tag team belts.
This is certainly going to be about as chaotic of a match as we're going to have on the card here tonight. I say that knowing that we have an underground street fight later on, but you know, things can get a little bit out of hand here. And, you know, I think something else that you got to keep in mind as well is that one of the reasons why the Gotham Inmates were able to get themselves in this position is because they won a fatal four-way variation of this match earlier on Saturdays.
You mentioned the word chaos. I think that almost in a sense makes the Gotham Inmates a favorite with that prior experience of being able to find what was a submission victory for Joker in the midst of all that chaos in the Fatal 4-Way. This seems to be right up their alley, almost a little deja vu. Whatever strategy worked out for them there, try and apply it here.
Absolutely. Dylan Young got a grip on the Joker right now. Or no, it's not Joker, that's Penguin. Wrong Gotham Inmate. Oh, roll up.
Roll up here by Ed on Dylan. It looked like Kyle was headed over there to break it up. That's another thing about this type of a matchup here as well. With this being just a one fall to the finish, not elimination style or anything, you get a pinfall or a submission on somebody, you're going to have upwards of 4 other people try to break that up to keep their hopes alive.
You know, get one person protecting you, that being your tag team partner, but everybody else is going to be running over there and trying to break things up. So you have to keep your eyes open in the back of your head if there are any there, and pay as much attention as you possibly can. Ring awareness is going to be tested here.
See all this action on the outside. The focus right now has to be inside the ring, where Eddie is squaring off with Dylan Young. Kind of interesting. You go back to that feud that the Thrill Seekers had with the family. Hold the phone here as a cover there by Dylan. We ended up seeing a series of one-on-one matchups. Both Dylan and Eddie were on the losing side of those one-on-one matchups.
I'm sure those two have a lot of anger to let out. I mean, you saw that with the family when they cut that promo not that long ago. They finally got their hands on a microphone, and they were showing a lot of fighting words in that promo. So those two definitely are going to be really, really determined to try to come away with this win.
I mentioned about the fact that Joker and Penguin, they've never really been able to get themselves into #1 contendership. Finally able to do so here tonight. Kyle and Dylan already have come up short against the family for the tag team title belts. If these two challenging teams come out on the losing end tonight, where do you go from here?
I really don't know. I mean, that's just one of the many questions that might need answering after here tonight. Jawbreaker, though, by Ed on the Dylan.
Cover is in, and Penguin, who is outside the ring, great awareness, able to get in time and break it up before referee Ernest Wright's hand came down for a 2.
I really don't know if I have an answer, though, for where those teams will end up going next, because this feels like, especially if you're the Gotham Inmates as well, it's been a really long time since they've even had title opportunities like this. So, and they're still one of the few tag teams that's been around since the beginning.
Go to sleep by Dylan on Penguin, and again, that time it's Ed able to break it up.
Roll up.
Eddie with a cover here on Kyle. Kyle with the reversal on Eddie.
Almost
and a
stole
2
it.
count. Back and forth we go.
Dylan broke that one up. That steel chair in the middle of the ring as well, but this being a triple threat, and no DQs or anything like that, there's allowed to be weapons in the middle of the ring, and you see Joker's looking for one, but Ed's got to cover on the Kyle.
Looking to retain the titles, and I believe Joker may have pushed Ed off of Kyle there and now gets sent to the outside for his troubles.
Another cover.
It's It's Ed with the cover on Penguin, who's going to kick out.
I think part of Dylan's back might have hit that chair on the way down from that power bomb. What is Kyle thinking here? Oh, man.
Big corner disaster kip. You could hear it echo through the arena here tonight in Orlando, Florida. And Kyle's going up top. Has Eddie all by himself in the ring.
Climbing forearm connects.
Have to basically look at our monitors of what's going on inside the ring. It's just a massive humanity right out here in front of our desk, but it is still Kyle and Eddie. Now Ed into the ring with a kendo stick. Oh, Superman punch by Kyle, I believe, on Eddie. Cover, and Ed will break it up.
Oh, I think our referee just got taken out. And to be honest with you, I'm not surprised with all this chaos going on in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, he avoided near disaster a little bit earlier, but now falling prey to just the numerous amount of bodies inside of the ring. I think Joker may have just gotten hit with a GTS courtesy of Dylan Young. Oh, gracious!
Death by kendo stick right there.
Penguin just throwing that straight into the forehead of Eddie. It's now Dylan. Samoan drop on Penguin. Eddie laying in shots to Joker, goes for the cover, and now the Thrill Seekers both there to break it up.
Oh, roll up here by Eddie.
Cover on Dylan, and Dylan's going to kick out.
One representative of each team is inside the ring right now. Everybody else is ringside. Oh, jawbreaker!
And all by himself, at least for the moment. Joker had exited the ring, comes back in to break up that pinfall attempt. Again, we talk about this is the blessing and the curse of being tag champions. Yes, you enjoy the time that you've got success at the top of the tag team division, but with the brand expansion like we see right here, you have them coming at you from both sides. As cover here by Eddie.
Right, but he got bumped or something like
Yeah.
that happened. He stopped paying attention to the shoulders.
And I just noticed that just prior to Eddie having that cover on Dylan, Dylan went chest first into an exposed turnbuckle there. I didn't even notice that turnbuckle pad had been taken off.
I didn't either. Cover there that was broken up. I'm wondering why Dylan reacted the way he did when he got sent into that turnbuckle pad. Great little observation there. As we got a roll up here by Joker. That's going to get broken up by Dylan.
All 6 competitors back inside the ring. As soon as I say that, Ed going to roll to the outside. It's going to be very difficult to find a pinfall or submission here. Kyle with a spear on Eddie, and Penguin turns around and quickly breaks that up.
You've got to get everybody dazed or out of the ring long enough to incapacitate somebody to go for the pin. As Penguin with that was almost a disaster kick there. Oh, it just met that clothesline, and so did Ernest Wright.
Just got mowed over. Jawbreaker! This time to Joker, courtesy of Eddie.
He can't go for the cover, though.
That was, I think that was smart. Ernest Wright is dazed against the ropes. What would have been the point going for a cover if there's nobody to count the 3?
Another jawbreaker.
This time to Dylan. Ernest Wright has his wits about him, but a slow count it's appeared there from our referee.
Not sure if that was intentional or maybe he's just feeling a little bit dazed. Another spear by Kyle.
Goes in for the cover on Eddie, and again a slow count by Ernest Wright. So that's going to make things even tougher if the referee isn't going to be counting the regular 3 count. You're going to have to be absolutely certain that the situation is perfect to not only get the count of 3, but make sure nobody else is going to have enough time to get in there and break it up.
This is not a situation that Kyle wants to be in right now. Both members of the Gotham inmates have him sort of cornered right here.
Shot to the midsection there by Kyle. Kyle and Penguin both inside the ring as a lariat clothesline by Matthews.
We have a submission attempt on the outside of the ring. It's not going to win the match, but Joker really wearing down his Ed that he had in that grip. Oh, a jawbreaker by Eddie.
Another jawbreaker. Kyle looking to break it up. Eddie's got Kyle up on his shoulders for a Samoan drop.
It's a golden opportunity for the family right now.
Now Eddie into the cover after the jawbreaker on Dylan Young. And nobody was there to break it up. The family are going to steal one and retain.
Here are your winners, and still men's tag team champions, Edward and Edward.
Penguin had worked his way back into the ring, but he was too far away, and he was not going to be there in time regardless. And the family, credit to them for showing the ring awareness. As much as I hate to admit it, that was it's showing by them to be able to retain the titles in that chaotic of a match.
Continue to stack the deck against them, and they managed to find a way to remain successful. Will that be the case for their fellow compatriot Matt McIntyre? We'll be finding out shortly, but up next, it is the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Flynn Rider, he had to win a battle royal to be able to have this opportunity to face Carlos Zimmerman. Now bear in mind, folks, we've been told that Aladdin is not here tonight. We ended up seeing him fall victim, being put through our announce table by Jason Voorhees last week.
The Intercontinental Championship.
I feel a little bit of extra desperation behind Flynn Rider going into this matchup as well, when you consider the fact that he was a semi-finalist during our Guardians of the Ring tournament on the men's side. He lost that tournament to Shaggy Rogers, and that denied him an opportunity to compete in the Tri-Wizard Championship at Combat Evolved.
Also bears saying that one of the individuals that Flynn Rider eliminated in that Battle Royal to make his way here to Fantasia was his tag team partner, Aladdin.
Flynn showing a little bit of extra desperation to try and get to the top here. When you have to get past one of your tag team partners, it kind of shows that you're willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means putting some friendships to the wayside. I mean, it's all business once the bell rings.
Mentioned about him coming up short against Shaggy Rogers in that Guardians of the Ring tournament. And had he won it, it would have given him a shot at the Tri-Wizard Championship. Now an opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship. Still looking for his first belt in FWE. Carlos Zimmerman, he is fast approaching the coveted 100-day mark as Intercontinental Champion. 83 days he has been the champion of the mid-card. Of course, that locked him into the Thursday Night Throwdown roster as well. Has held the belt ever since the Bash at Tatooine PLE, but you kind of look at the individuals he's faced so far. Carlos has both the power and the high flying ability. This might be a very even matchup between him and Flynn Rider.
It really could be, and I'm not necessarily sure that Carlos has faced anybody with even footing like that as him before, so this is going to be really fun to see how it all turns out.
Introducing the challenger from Camelot, weighing in at 229 pounds, Flynn! And his opponent from Houston, Texas, weighing in at 163 pounds, the Intercontinental Champion, Carlos Z.
Carlos Zimmerman getting ready to defend that title belt. They call it the working man's title, and both these individuals are going to have to certainly work for it here tonight. Again, as we mentioned, we would probably have seen Aladdin out here with his teammate Flynn Rider for extra support, but Aladdin not here, did not make the flight to Orlando after we saw this past week. He got put through our announce table courtesy of Jason Voorhees, and if you're Flynn Rider, how difficult is it to kind of put that out of your mind and focus at the task at hand?
Well, so far it's kind of proven to be pretty difficult because he met that big running boot from Carlos to start the match, and now he's being worn down. But yeah, I think it's going to be, you know, etched in the back of his mind this entire matchup, and that might prove to be a really difficult mental obstacle, knowing that you don't have your partner who's usually there ringside. But at the same time, it could be a really big confidence boost for Flynn if he's able to win this matchup alone.
Flynn is able to pick up the victory and claim the Intercontinental Championship. It'd be the first title change so far here tonight. Earlier on this evening, the vacant brand new Iron Queen Championship was won by Jasmine, picking up the victory over Elizabeth Swan, and just moments ago we saw the family retain the Tag Team Championship. So, you know, we always talk about those kind of trends during the course of the night and how much gravitas they might play into the later portions of the PLE. Maybe in a sense here, Carlos and Flynn could be the starters of those stats.
Could very well be. Those numbers, they're certainly going to change a lot throughout the evening, considering there are so many matches, so many titles on the card here tonight. So, ooh, nice little backstabber there by Carlos. He's going to go into the cover. Got a 2 count, but Flynn's going to kick out.
Flynn keeping his hopes alive here, but so far it has been almost all Carlos on offense. As soon as I say that, though, nice drop kick stuns Carlos up against the ropes, and this might be just the opening that Flynn Rider needs.
You see the way that Carlos reacted after he hit that kick? He kind of hobbled on one leg for a second there. It looked like he didn't get that everywhere.
You have to keep an eye on that here. Certainly, if you're the champion, you can ill afford to suffer any type of an injury because you know the challenger's going to hone in on that, because I was going to mention this type of a matchup, it is champion's advantage. Count out, disqualification, the champion retains, but hey, the injury could be exactly the advantage Flynn Rider's looking for.
Very well be. Haven't necessarily had that to worry about here in any of our prior matchups tonight. Obviously, with a vacant title of the first match and then a triple threat. Ooh, that's not a good landing for either of them.
Flynn was going, it looked like, for maybe a corkscrew cross body. Carlos able to avoid it, but now in a bad way. Oh, guillotined on that top rope. Flynn gonna quickly go into the cover and hook the leg. Can he win the Intercontinental Championship? And Carlos with a quick kick out at 1. Oh, and Carlos might have found a second win there. Saw him get fired up and now lays out Flynn Rider with the clothesline.
And somehow managed to connect on that attack over the top rope. Cover is in.
Not sure he got it all, and I think that's indicative right there with the kick out at 1. He maybe only landed on the right half of Flynn Rider's body with that senton. Off the ropes. Zimmerman, pop-up forearm, drops Flynn Rider back down to the mat. And now what does the champion have in mind is he'll bring Flynn up to his knees, drops him with a big boot, big extension on that kick.
A huge kick might have turned Flynn's lights out, but he kicks out at 1.
Still a lot left in the tank. As now Carlos goes to work on the ground and pound game, just laying those boots into the chest of Flynn Rider, kick to the lower back for good measure.
That ground and pound offense that you mentioned, that's really benefiting Carlos right now. He goes up to the middle rope, try and get a little bit more velocity of this attack.
Nice double leg Meteora, follows it up with a springboard moonsault into the cover. Is this enough to retain? And no, Flynn Rider gets the shoulder up at 2, an early 2.
Pretty frustrating in this matchup when you can land all this devastating offense onto your opponent. Is he's going to go for the STF, I think.
He's got him cross-face locked in there, a submission move locked in. Hard to tell from this angle. I believe he had the right arm trapped, which would have been smart. That would have been the arm closest to the ropes. It was the left arm Flynn had to use with those back elbows to get out of that submission maneuver, and now a backbreaker.
Right across the top of his knee. Flynn delivering the strikes, has Carlos up on the top of his shoulders.
Oh! Modified Death Valley driver, hooks that far leg, cover in to win the title, and Carlos slips out at 2. The smolder! That could be it!
Is he setting up for another one?
Setting Carlos up once again. And he's gonna hit the float over. We've got a new champion. Cover is in, the leg is hooked, and oh,
What?
Carlos kicked out!
Oh my. This
Flynn
match-
cannot believe it, but to his credit, he's keeping the offense going. Goes for the cover again. Is this enough? And again, Carlos
Oh.
finds a way out.
I mean, you prematurely called the matchup. I mean, you think this should be over by now with all the offense that Flynn has
Absolutely
hit?
thought it was over.
Like I said earlier, I mean, again, you mentioned to his credit, he's keeping the offense rolling here, but I don't know how you're feeling mentally if you're Flynn Rider. You just took your best shot, and you still couldn't put the champ away.
Top rope arm drag sends Carlos clear across the ring.
Carlos rolling out. I mean, I'm surprised he has enough wherewithal to do that. He's just been on the receiving end of all that offense, and Flynn has to be mindful that you got to get him back in the ring because the countout won't result in a title change. Oh, look at this!
Oh! I'm not sure if he was going for a Hurricane Rana, a leg drop, whatever it was. His tailbone just met the floor and now dropped with a Superman punch. And this might be exactly the opening that Carlos needs to get back into this.
You got to think, too, that this is probably Carlos's last chance right now. If he cannot put in some kind of offensive display to put Flynn Rider away, he probably won't have enough left. Oh, my.
Forearm from the top rope to the outside that resets the count. And now Carlos gonna lay in the hands to the side of the head of Flynn Rider.
From over here, right in front of our announce table, it looks like Flynn might have been busted open by one of those shots from Carlos. Oh, reversal.
Kicks Carlos off. Oh, nice kick there, right to the side of the head. Flynn Rider now dishing out punishment on the outside of the ring. He's back inside the ring, but you can't win on a countout, Flynn. You gotta get Carlos back in.
He's gonna go back out.
Oh!
Oh,
And
man.
again, he missed.
I feel like that was a bit of a desperation move, though. He felt like he had to reset the count. He did not think he was gonna get Carlos back in the ring in time, but that might cost him.
Could be the turning point of this matchup as the referee, as you alluded to, reset the count, but already halfway to a count of 10. Carlos with shots to the back here. You almost wonder if maybe Carlos would be satisfied with a count-out victory at this point in time.
I think he's gonna try and win it legit.
Yep, looks like it. Count of 8. Whatever he was going to go for, he realized he didn't have enough time for it. Uh-oh.
This could be
Has
it.
him up. Reverse GTS. Is that enough for Carlos to keep the championship tonight? It is. What a match.
That was incredible.
Here is your winner, and still Intercontinental Champion, Carlos C.
What a battle with Flynn Rider. And they both know it.
Show of respect after the match, after these two went to war. Get another look at that reverse GTS there. Maybe not a reverse GTS, but a GTS nonetheless. It earned Flynn Rider's lights out and still.
Flynn Rider put up a fight tonight. There were a couple of points in this matchup. We thought he was going to be the one walking out of Fantasia with the belt, but Zimmerman survives to keep his reign going. As mentioned, now he looks towards that 100-day mark. We've just...
Oh, no.
No!
Not again!
He took out Aladdin last week. Now he's got his set sign the other outsider. A choke slam to Flynn, courtesy of Jason Voorhees. As if things couldn't get worse for Flynn Rider.
I have no idea what Jason Voorhees is doing targeting the outsiders like this, but certainly something they're going to have to keep in their back of their minds for a long, long time. But we're going to have to shift our focus now because new attitude for Toxic Attraction. They've earned themselves #1 contendership against the Daughters of Thanos after winning a no DQ match. They take them on for the Women's Disney Tag Team Championships.
New attitude and a lot of momentum for this group of former tag team champions. You mentioned about that victory that they have over the Daughters of Thanos, no disqualification. That match, let's not sugarcoat it, it went into the late hours. A lot of punishment dealt out on both sides. And that was yesterday. What kind of physical condition would both of these teams be in coming into the night, what is supposed to be a traditional tag team matchup?
Not a very good one. I mean, you got to think about the whole process you got to go through. You got to maybe go to medical after that matchup and then get cleared that way, and then you got to get right on the jet, get down to Orlando as quickly as you can. So I'm not really sure how well rested these teams are unless they maybe slept on the plane flight over, so hopefully they're doing all right. I imagine they're not close to 100% though.
I can't help but think back to the words of Kim Possible and Shigo when we saw them take on this new attitude here in the tag team division. They're not waiting in line. They're not waiting for their turn. They're taking the opportunity. With those words, with what they've been able to do recently here in the tag team division, how much of a must-win situation would this be for the challengers?
I mean, I don't necessarily, I'm not sure if it would be as much of a must-win as you might think, but you know, you've got, this is a real opportunity for them right now to prove themselves, because they just went ahead and they took the chance that they were giving themselves, I guess. But if they don't win, you have to wonder what they might do if they feel like they deserve another opportunity.
Well, last night on Saturday Night Smash, that no DQ tag team matchup, it was a non-title matchup. This is the first title defense for the Daughters of Thanos since they won the belts back at Combat Evolved. And let's not forget the way they ended up earning #1 contendership for that matchup against the then champions Disney Queens. They had to win a fatal 4-way earlier on that night on the Combat Evolved pre-show.
And I mentioned it too, they have to work their way through some potential team chemistry issues as well when there was some friendly fire involving a chair being thrown around, as we'll send it down to our ring announcer, Mike Robe.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall and is for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challengers, KP and Shelly. Toxic Attraction. And their opponents, the Women's Tag Team Champions, Nikita and Kat Morgan, the Bad Girls.
Now, the Daughters of Thanos have held those Women's Disney Tag Team Championships now for 40 days. They are one of only 3 teams in FWE to have held those belts more than once. Team Let It Go has also held the belts twice, 3 times for Rapunzel and Belle of the Disney Queens.
And that, you mentioned briefly that transition as well, because they had the no DQ match last night, and now they end up facing each other in traditional tag team rules. So there will be countouts, there will be disqualifications, so something that these teams will have to keep in mind. We'll see whether or not Toxic Attraction is willing to play by the rules this time.
So that will be Champion's advantage, which is certainly not what Ed and Eddie had in their favor when they had triple threat rules in their earlier successful title defense. So we'll have to see if that plays to the strengths here of Nebula and Gamora. One thing that we both documented last night in the tag team match between these two was good frequent tags. We'll have to see if they adhere to that page of the playbook again here tonight.
And that was definitely something as a sling blade there by Nebula. That was definitely something that allowed Toxic Attraction to pick up that victory, but cover is in. Nebula trying to retain, but a kick out at 1.
And you got to wonder there, that early cover by Nebula, is that maybe testing the waters, trying to see just how physically fit Shigo is after that no DQ matchup last night?
Possibly, but it might also be a mental thing as well. Maybe trying to get in the heads of Toxic Attraction a little bit. I feel like Toxic Attraction definitely have the mental advantage of we already beat you once, we can definitely do it again, but going for the early cover this early on in the matchup is usually a mental thing.
Interesting right there. Nebula made the tag to Gamora. It was looking like Shigo was going to go over and tag Kim Possible in, but then when she saw Gamora was a legal participant, she changed her mind. Now she'll make the tag into Kim Possible.
Gamora gonna bide her time, just wait for Kim Possible to get herself into the matchup, and a big DDT there.
Mentioned Kim Possible and Shigo. Hold that thought here as the cover is in to win the tag team titles and a kick out at 1. Mentioned that Kim and Shigo, former holders of the tag team title belts, if they were able to win here tonight, they would join Daughters of Thanos, Team Let It Go, and the Disney Queens as multi-time tag team champions. Cover here. Shigo had the leg hooked, and Gamora able to power out at 1.
It was pretty close to the ropes, obviously, with this being a standard matchup, that would mean rope breaks would apply, so gotta be mindful of where you go for that cover. Ooh, another DDT there.
Doesn't go in for the cover here on Gamora. Gamora looks like she's gonna get over to the corner, make the tag to Nebula.
Again, it looked like Shiga was thinking about going for a tag, but then saw the tag on the other side and decided against it.
Now finds herself on the receiving end of, oh! Almost a modified face buster there. And then just a straight up one-handed slam by Nebula.
I can't say I've seen those moves before out of Nebula. That was impressive stuff.
Oh! I believe that was a modified version of the Plasma Strike, and Gamora realized it, breaks it up. Shot from behind there by Gamora. And now Shigo gonna lock in the, I believe that's a knee bar on Nebula, trying to force one half the tag champs to tap out. Oh, gosh.
Man. Oh my goodness. That Nebula is throwing out all the stops here in this matchup.
Nebula
We
now
haven't seen before. Look out!
has her up and down. Does Nebula, going in for the cover after that massive move there. Almost a Batarang slam of some kind, and Kim Possible breaks it up. Another one-handed slam there.
Almost like a choke slam in a sense. I'm calling for Shiga to get up to her feet.
We don't normally see Nebula at the top rope, but she's going to connect with boot to face. Now picking Shigo up. Couldn't tell if that was by the hair or maybe by the ears.
I think by the shoulders, probably.
Oh!
Oh, wow.
Massive, massive DDT, the final protocol. And wisely makes the tag, does Shigo, because that could have been the matchup right there.
Yeah, Shigo's lucky she had enough wherewithal after that to be able to make the tag. What is this?
Oh my goodness!
Moonsault for good measure. Now the cover is in. I don't know if Kim Possible is going to get up from this. Oh, she does.
Kicked out at 1. Now Gamora has Kim up and down. Buries that knee right into the upper neck region.
Gonna go for it again. No.
Oh! Modified cutter there now into the cover here.
That was the wrong place.
Wrong side of the ring, just too close there. Easy for Shigo to get in and break it up. Oh, hang on. Oh, no! That's the Soul Reaper. And did she just reap the soul of Kim Possible?
Yes.
She did indeed. Daughters of Thanos will retain.
Here are your winners and still Women's Tag Team Champions, Kat Morgan and Nikita, the Bad Girls.
Their
Really
first
interesting to see where they go from here, where Toxic Attraction goes from here after that loss. They could not back up their words.
Daughters of Thanos, after the devastating loss last night, make good this evening when the gold is on the line. Successful retention here tonight in Orlando, but up next, Jack. Oh boy, we've been looking forward to this one. We've already been treated to 2 matchups. It's time for the rubber match between these 2 gargantuans.
The only matchup on tonight's card where there is not a title on the line. It is just about personal vendettas. Maybe it's some vindication as well for these 2. Kratos and Thanos gonna lock up in an underground street fight.
Well, Thanos and Kratos currently sit at 1 win apiece between the 2 of them. There was a point last night when we thought that maybe we weren't going to see either of them on the Fantasia card. Neither one were successful in their respective qualifying Fatal 4-Ways to fight for the Universal Heavyweight Championship. But a backstage altercation near the end of the night, Nick Fury making the decision tonight, we will put this rivalry to rest in an underground street fight.
Notice that the ropes have been removed from the ring. That is exactly how it works. This matchup can be won by pinfall, submission, or not DQ, knockout as far as I understand.
Now, I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you who's the favorite in this matchup, since really in the tail of the tape, it's pretty doggone even. However, the one thing that I will mention is that Thanos' victory over Kratos, that was a traditional match. Kratos picked up a victory over Thanos in a Falls Count Anywhere match. With having it be maybe a little bit more brutal and a little less restrictions, I almost wonder if this type of environment could favor Kratos just a little bit more.
You're talking to the guy whose back got put through the top of the Hell in a
That's
Cell
fair
structure
enough.
by Thanos.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't rule either of them out. I'm just glad I'm here at the announce table and not in the ring with both of them at the same time. I said it before with 2 big men in the ring. I can handle one, but not both.
Is an underground match. Introducing first, from parts unknown, weighing in at 343 pounds, the Terror. And from Athens, Greece, weighing in at 287 pounds, Kron.
Well, we certainly hope that the ring has been reinforced for this matchup. They don't have to necessarily use the ring here at all either, as you see. You mentioned it, no ropes here, so you could easily see either of these individuals thrown directly to the outside, out to the floor.
Yeah, these could be some devastating moves that they land on one another. Even an Irish whip into the steel posts there can be devastating as well, because you don't have those turnbuckles or turnbuckle pads. They're just going straight into that metal ring post.
This place here, Walt Disney World, is known as the most magical place on Earth. Nothing going to be magical here for either of these 2 individuals, who certainly still have to be feeling the effects of their previous bouts. Of course, as mentioned, both involved in Fatal 4-Way matches last night as well. This is going to be a true test of endurance.
Involved in those Fatal 4-Way matches, and also involved in that backstage altercation, so neither of them are probably anywhere near 100% right now, and whoever loses this match might be on the shelf for some time.
Massive DDT there by Kratos. Of course, we ended up seeing Kratos get drafted to Saturday nights in the draft, and almost seems as if Thanos felt that was a threat, because he's always seemed to be the big individual. He's been the Titan here in FWE, and now you have another big individual coming in. It's almost like another big dog marking its territory.
That's basically what this is. They're trying to figure out who the bigger man is, who's sort of the large guy to deal with on Saturday nights. Thanos, oh, look out here. Oh, gosh.
Dumped right out in front of us. You could feel the floor shake underneath our feet, as here is the cover and a kick out.
Probably another stipulation that we did not mention earlier. Falls will count anywhere here.
Went for a shoulder tackle of some kind there to Kratos, almost like hitting a brick wall.
Boy.
That's what Ernest Wright just felt like right there. He just almost got hit by a brick wall. Oh, and look at this. Kratos taking the cover off of that table alongside of us. Oh, and that momentary distraction has on the receiving end of a reverse choke slam.
I shudder to think of what he was trying to do to that announce table.
You know, I mentioned about everything that these guys have put each other through out here at ringside. Let's not forget that we ended up having that Falls Count Anywhere matchup brought about because these two were brawling out in the Fantasy Dome parking lot earlier on that night.
That's true. These two have definitely put each other through hell. It all comes to a head here in this street fight, and Thanos is wasting no time right now, taking advantage of that kendo stick shot as that grip on the shoulders of Kratos.
Double vice grip, trying to almost make the arm and leg region go numb with that nervous system vice. And now just bowls Kratos over.
Oh,
another
man.
choke slam.
Must have taken some inspiration from Nebula from that past matchup that we just saw.
You mentioned about it too. One of the stipulations that you can win this matchup is via knockout. With how far this has gone between the two, well, hold the phone on that thought here, because Thanos has the cover and Ernest Wright appeared to not be able to get into position to count that three. I was almost kind of wondering with how far it's gone between these two, they may not want to look for a pinfall or submission. They may be looking for that knockout blow as more of a statement maker than anything.
Absolutely. Get somebody down to the point where the referee has to immediately call for the bell without even bothering to try to count. I mean, that would be such a mental victory as well for both of them.
Big
cover here by
blow
Kratos.
Right across the chest, and kick out at one by Thanos. Oh my goodness, look at the strength.
No.
Look at the strength. Oh my goodness. The whiplash onto the floor courtesy of that Alabama slam, and now smart here by Kratos working on the leg of Thanos. For either one of these two men, that power and strength comes from maintaining the vertical position. You take that away, you gain a tremendous advantage.
That you do, and again, wrenching on that leg as well, dropping him right onto the ring apron.
Did you see how Thanos' body buckled?
Now the steel chair for good measure.
Kratos into the cover here after that steel chair shot. Ernest Wright took a while to get over there to make sure the shoulders were down, and that little bit of time might have been just what Thanos needed to kick out at one.
Yeah, I do think it bought Thanos just enough time to recover. Now that takedown, kind of a roll-up here from Thanos, doesn't get a 2 count.
Almost like he speared Kratos into the barricade there before the roll-up, and now looking for another choke slam here on the outside, making Kratos think about it.
I thought he was going to hit him across the top of the barricade for a second, which would have been even worse.
Now has him up and down with a massive press slam. And look at this. One foot on the chest, and Kratos is going to kick out at 2.
That cover basically showed you what Thanos' mentality in this matchup is. He doesn't just want to win this match, he wants to dominate it.
Notice the crowd here at ringside giving both of these two guys a wide berth. I don't blame them.
I don't either. Stand as far away from these two as you possibly can.
Thanos tried to introduce a chair Kratos able to fight it out of Thanos' grip, and now slam onto the floor, maybe partially. Maybe that right shoulder caught the steel steps.
They're just barely done so. As
Whoa, look at the strength. That brings him up to the powerbomb position. Onto the floor. And Kratos
that did it?
is gonna pick up a massive victory.
Here is your winner.
I certainly don't mean to take away anything regarding the strength of Kratos or Thanos, but I'm honestly surprised that was all it took to put him away.
Massive powerbomb, massive statement. Did Kratos just establish himself the top giant on Saturday nights?
He very well may have. Well, we had a match with all the chaos happening outside the ring, and now this next one, we're going to sort of contain it all inside the ring as a steel cage is going to be lowered here in just a moment.
Matt McIntyre gets his rematch against Wonder Woman for the United States Championship. He gave Wonder Woman his word the family would not interfere in this matchup. She wanted to believe him, but to make absolutely certain it will take place in the confines of a steel cage.
And is for the United States Championship.
Certainly not a sight that we're used to seeing. Matt McIntyre getting ready to enter a championship match as the challenger. No belt around his waist. 333 days as the United States champion before dropping that belt to Wonder Woman of all people at Combat Evolved.
But I have to think back to the night that he asked for that title rematch. A couple of the sentences that he said was, that night at Combat Evolved, I was chasing and looking to preserve history. Now, with no belt around my waist, my mind is clearer, my goals are easier to accomplish. This could be an entirely different approach to the matchup tonight for Matt McIntyre than it has been in nearly under a year.
Absolutely could be. And, Matt, it's certainly different territory when you're ending such a long title reign, and now you feel like you have an opportunity to be a chaser instead of somebody who's being hunted constantly. So we'll see what his mentality is and if it will pay off.
Well, that night of Combat Evolved, we saw almost a passing of the torch in terms of history. We saw Matt McIntyre's historic reign come to an end, and we saw the beginning of a new reign, an individual that we probably never thought would hold a men's title here in FWE, as Wonder Woman had to go through multiple different scenarios to even claim #1 contendership, ultimately was able to claim the prize and now gets ready for her first title defense.
Just caught us completely off guard. We never thought it would be somebody on the women's roster who ended up ending that long championship reign for Matt McIntyre. We'll see what happens as Matt tries to reclaim what was once his here tonight.
Introducing the challenger. From Evansville, Indiana, weighing in at 192 pounds, Matt McIntyre. From Mount Olympus, the United States champion, Wonder Woman, the Princess Diana.
Just looking over my notes, this is the third title that Wonder Woman has held in her FWE career, a former hardcore champion, and of course, Not many people remember she's a former Women's Universal Champion. Ended up earning it the night of Sugar Rush when she defeated Cruella de Vil. She would be cashed in on immediately after by Elizabeth Swann. Her first title defense here, though, since Combat Evolved. And I gotta wonder here as well, Jack, for Matt McIntyre, he's one of those individuals who loves to study the game. We saw him successfully, time and time again, defend the championship. You gotta know, he's done his homework. He's looked back at the previous matchup between him and Wonder Woman at Combat Evolved. Some adjustments I think we are going to see made here in this matchup.
I think that's a fantastic point, and something that may or may not play into either of these competitors' favor as well is the nature of a steel cage match. There's no champion's advantage or anything like that to work around. You can use that cage as a weapon. We're going to have a slugfest in the middle of it already, but to finish the point, you can win the matchup by pinfall submission, or you can escape the cage. You can escape through the door, or you can climb over the top. As long as both feet hit the floor, that's considered an escape.
Right hands laid in by both champion and challenger here inside of this structure, which in and of itself can be used as a weapon in this environment.
Exchanging blow for blow. We got the hockey fight going on in the middle of the cage. Somebody really seems to be on the victorious end of that, and now Matt backing off a little bit.
Straight forearm shot seemed to do nothing. Wonder Woman follows up with a backbreaker. Again, this steel cage here, not necessarily to keep Matt McIntyre in, but more so to keep the rest of the family members out, as we've obviously been privy to the tactics of the family. No telling that they wouldn't in some way try to involve themselves here to bring that United States Championship back into the faction. Wonder Woman making sure that she cuts the dogs off at all potential passes.
Yeah, you know, it is certainly interesting because I've talked about before how Matt feels like the only member of the family that is willing to win these things clean and doesn't really, you know, I'm not going to say he doesn't want his family members there for support, but at the same time, kind of when he doesn't really need to rely on them as much as as the other members of the family typically rely on each other. So I have to wonder, like you said, Wonder Woman didn't necessarily trust the rest of the faction as she's got a cover here, or Matt had the cover there rather, but Wonder Woman kicked out.
Interesting, too, you kind of think of both of these individuals in regards to success inside of a steel cage is nearly bouncing off that steel cage, but putting on the brakes was Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman ended up winning one of her 2 hardcore titles inside of a steel cage, defeating then champion Jessica Shelton. Let's not forget Matt McIntyre was on the winning side in Infinity War Games when the family went to war against the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that's a great point as well. You know, the War Games matchup, it's probably just as brutal, if not more brutal than a steel cage, but that's because you've got 8 bodies inside of 2 rings inside of a double-sided steel cage, so it's a bit of a similar environment, but that feeling of captivity is still certainly there.
That went for something in the corner. Wonder Woman, a well-placed boot to the midsection, fights out of it. Now, oh, nice mule kick right up under the jaw by Matt McIntyre. Irish whipped off the ropes. Up and down with a knee to the midsection, kick right to the back of the head, and the challenger currently in control.
I mean, so far these two have only really gone for pinfalls here. We haven't really seen a whole lot of attempts to try and escape the cage, but trying to win it via a wrestling tactic and not trying to just climb up the side of the cage or go through the door.
You know, Matt said back during that request for the rematches, hold on, cover here on Wonder Woman, who's going to kick out before even a count of 1, but he said, I'm not chasing history anymore, I'm looking to rewrite it. If he wins the title here tonight, he would do exactly that. Let's not forget, the United States Championship has only been held by 4 individuals. 2 of them are in the ring right here, the other 2 are Gaston and Nick Gunther, as Wonder Woman with a roll up and Matt kicks out. If Matt wins tonight, he'd be the very first individual in FWE history to hold the belt more than once, but he just met the steel cage with his back.
Yeah, that's his back going right into the side of the steel cage. That steel wire there is certainly not a friendly feeling, and Matt's going to have to shake that one off if he wants to try to retain, but Wonder Woman has them up on the shoulders.
Oh no, the lasso of truth. We have seen her hit this multiple times and put individuals away. Is this enough to retain the title here tonight? If Fantasia, no!
Wonder Woman seems to be in a little bit of disbelief.
Not many have been able to kick out of that lasso of truth. Matt able to block the right hand, might have felt potentially the Amazon slam was on the horizon and fights it off for the time being with another roundhouse kick.
Well, I think Wonder Woman's offense was a little bit delayed because, like I mentioned, she was in such disbelief that didn't put Matt away. And, I'm a little bit surprised that she thought that was going to be enough. I mean, we're kind of late into this matchup, but I feel like Matt's still got plenty of life left in him, and he's showing it with his offense right now.
And now Matt might be looking to, well, I was going to say.
Oh, no.
Double boots. Right to the gut, in for the cover to win the United States Championship back. And a kick out at 1.
Looked like he was maybe trying to climb his way out of the cage instead opted for the coup de grace style double stomp. Now has the cover, and Wonder Woman again with a kick out at 1.
Yeah, again, as you alluded to, escaping the cage would count just as much as a pinfall or a submission here.
Oh, no.
Might be setting up for the kill shot in the corner. Claymore! Is that enough? Is Matt McIntyre about to be a 2-time U.S. champion?
He did it!
Matt McIntyre vanquishes the demons.
Here is your winner, and new United States Champion, Matt McIntyre.
Well, Wonder Woman's reign will end at 40 days. Matt McIntyre's second time as United States champion begins tonight at Fantasia.
You alluded to it as well. The first time ever we have a 2-time United States champion here in FWE. And title's only been held by 4 different people, and that number, it was going to stay the same regardless of what happened tonight, but Matt McIntyre ends up grabbing back the belt that he made history with, and now we can only wonder what plans he has next.
No family interference stipulation was called by the champion, and Matt McIntyre overcomes it all to claim his second U.S. Championship belt in his career. That's going to mark only our first title change of the night. Best of luck to you here, Jack, as you get ready to take on Dr. Facilier for that Wayfinder Cruiser Championship.
Let's do it.
Jack heading backstage here, getting ready for a rematch, if you will. These two faced off against each other last night in Jack's Open Challenge.
And is for the Men's Cruiserweight Championship.
Well, 2 things happened last night that astounded the FWE universe. The first was the reappearance of one Dr. Facilier, who we have not seen in months. Second was the fact that he answered and successfully won Jack Mitchell's Open Challenge. Jack was looking for a future #1 contender for the Wayfinder Cruiser Championship, and he has found one. That pinfall took place just a little over 24 hours ago. Can Dr. Facilier do it again and claim his first championship here in FWE? Well, just moments ago, we saw Matt McIntyre claim the United States Championship for the second time in his career, the first individual to do so with that belt. Jack Mitchell is now on his second reign with the Wayfinder Cruiser Championship, coming into tonight 83 days with the title. He is one of two individuals that have held that belt more than once, Carson Gunn being the other. Only three other individuals besides those two have held this championship title. Of course, when Jack first held this belt, he was then a double champion, simultaneously held the Wayfinder Cruiser Championship and the Tri-Wizard Championship. A couple of weeks ago, he defeated King Candy in the first of his Open Challenge matches. Fell victim to Dr. Facilier last night. But much like we had moments ago, where Matt McIntyre ran it back with Wonder Woman, you gotta wonder, based off the events of last night, how much did Jack Mitchell learn? How much can he apply as he looks to retain his title this evening at Fantasia?
Introducing the challenger. From New Orleans, Louisiana, weighing in at 163 pounds, Dr. F. And his opponent, from Los Angeles, California, weighing in at 200 pounds, the men's cruiserweight champion, the
So far tonight, we have seen a total of 4 championships put on the line. 3 have been retained. We have an inaugural Iron Queen champion in Jasmine, a new United States champion in Matt McIntyre. Where will this Wayfinder Cruiser Championship be by the end of this evening? And as the bell rings, very excited to let you all know that our next rendition of Saturday Night at Springfield will be taking place now on Sunday nights. Sunday Night at Springfield will be coming to you live on Sunday night, August the 16th. Be sure to join us for that, as we call it the glorified house show, but it has all the aspects of a mini PLE. We hope to see you there. Mitchell with the early advantage here. Big kick right into the chest region of Dr. Facilier. And now lays in a knee right under the jaw. Mitchell full pressed offense here in the early going. Big kick there as Facilier was crumpled up on that middle rope. Cover is in to retain the championship, and a quick kick out at 1. We've talked all night long about the scheduling structure now with the PLEs being on Sunday nights. These two individuals faced off against each other just a little over 24 hours ago. What kind of physical condition are both of them in here, both champion and challenger? Who is going to dig down the deepest if this matchup goes into the long hours as a springboard spear takes down Facilier? Mitchell now up to that middle rope, ushering Dr. Facilier to his feet. Oh, looked like he might have been going for another spear. Facilier able to sidestep, and now going to lock in a leg lock here. Mitchell not close enough to the ropes, but he'll be able to use his free leg to fight out of it. Now laying in the shots and the boots. Oh, was going for a snap neck breaker. And again, Facilier able to get out of harm's way. Neck breaker of his own, drops the champion. Looking for a fisherman suplex. Oh no, fisherman brainbuster suplex. Bridges into the cover and almost got the Wayfinder Cruiser Championship. Mitchell able to slip out at 2. Oh, look at that. Oh, I thought for a moment there that Facilier made a mistake. Mitchell was going for that springboard cutter and overshot his mark. Now Facilier go behind, swinging neck breaker. And Mitchell gonna roll to the outside. Again, champion's advantage. Double axe handle to the outside, but Dr. Facilier has to get Mitchell back in between the ropes. He can only win the title via pinfall or submission. A counter or disqualification, the title would stay with Jack. Referee Ernest Wright beginning the count here. Facilier looking to lock in a armbar on the outside. Even if Mitchell tapped out, it wouldn't matter. It would have to take place inside of the ropes here, and now, nice job shifting the hips, being able to get onto his stomach, and fights out of that submission, and now delivers the stomach of Facilier into those steel steps. Referee up to a count of 6, and you see Mitchell back inside of the ring. Facilier's got to get in. Referee Ernest Wright, like he might have been giving a little bit of extra time here for Facilier to get in. But now Mitchell to the outside, that's actually going to reset the count. Shot low, This is not going to be good if you're Mitchell. He's in voodoo drop position onto the floor. You saw Mitchell hold his face. That could have broken his nose. And now the challenger is firmly in control. Oh, wrenching on the back. I thought he was going to go for a cloverleaf submission, and now here's the cover. Do we have a new cruiserweight champion? Oh, Mitchell just got the shoulder up. The referee's hand was mere inches from hitting 3, and you could see the frustration on the face of Dr. Facilier. Another fisherman suplex. And does Facilier feel that the end could be closing in? Oh, Mitchell up and down. Nice Hurricane Rana. He's going to hook the legs. Oh, reversal by Facilier. Is that, no. Now another reversal by Mitchell. Reversal again by Facilier. Trading near falls back and forth. Oh, gut wrench suplex by Facilier. And now perched in the corner, what is Dr. Facilier thinking? Gonna lay in some right hands there. And now laying low and strikes high with the voodoo curse. The cover is in. Is this enough to put Mitchell away? Wow! We've got a new cruiserweight champion!
Here is your winner, and now, men's cruiserweight champion, Dr.
Wait, what the? Why in the heck is Nick Gunther out here? Facilier looks surprised. Gunther out here applauding Dr. Facilier, who just picked up his second pinfall victory over Mitchell. Tonight, it earns him his first title in FWE. He becomes the 6th individual to claim the Wayfinder Cruiser Championship. And up next, another individual looks for his first world title reign. Robbie Gilvin, the former Intercontinental Champion, will take on the Tri-Wizard Champion, William Turner. These two went to war together in tag team action this past Thursday night. Tonight, they find themselves on opposite sides of the ring.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the Men's World Championship. Take this job and
Well, as we get ready for our Tri-Wizard Championship match, my broadcast colleague Jack Mitchell joins me back here at the commentary desk. I can tell by the look on your face, I might need to treat you to Disney World.
That would certainly help. What is going on with Nick?
I don't know.
What is he doing here? What is the whole thing about? I'm actually really curious to get to our next episode of Thursday Night Throwdown, because I'm pretty sure Nick is going to have some words about this whole thing if he shows his face again. I mean, this situation, it might not be over if he's involved.
I mean, I don't think anybody knew what Nick was doing out here. Even Dr. Facilier was kind of looking like, what the heck you doing out here?
I really couldn't get a total read on him. I couldn't get a total read on Nick, other than he seemed happy about it. I mean, if Nick is going to try and take shots at me, then maybe we're going to have some problems down the road in that regard.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Maybe more happy he saw you lose the title than seeing Facilier win it. We certainly will try and get a lot of answers to those questions here in the coming weeks, but how about this matchup here tonight? Because William Turner, we saw him, it's interesting how it all seems to wrap back around to Nick. We ended up seeing William Turner win the Tri-Wizard title when he cashed in his power-up briefcase against Michael Norman following the matchup for the then vacant Tri-Wizard title at Combat Evolved. He used Nick Gunther's clothing to do so. Robbie Gilvin, he's the #1 contender for this belt because he defeated Nick Gunther in a one-on-one matchup.
It's a really interesting situation here regarding this Tri-Wizard Championship, but Will Turner going to be pretty determined to try and hold on to it. I feel like he proved a lot of people wrong when he was able to win that matchup to retain the title, so we'll see what happens. It wasn't to retain the title, but he won that match against Nick in a 1-1.
introducing the challenger from Louisville, Kentucky, weighing in at 206 pounds, Robert and his opponent from Manchester, England, weighing in at 200 pounds, the Men's World Champion, William Turner.
Well, William Turner coming into tonight after winning that belt with his cash-in at Combat Evolved, 40 days as Tri-Wizard champion. Robbie Gilvin had a lengthy stint as champion when he held the Intercontinental Championship. Actually walked in and successfully defended it on the big stage at Paramount. But his first opportunity at a World Championship happens tonight at Fantasia.
Ooh. And he tried for a hot start. He went for that running knee, and now he's got the roll-up on the Will Turner. Will kick out before one, so Robbie coming in hot with this matchup, definitely trying to make a statement early on.
We ended up seeing Robbie Gilvin on the possible attack of the Disciples of Darkness. We saw William Turner come out to make the save. The two of them, as I alluded to, also teamed up together against Hades and Nick Gunther in a successful bout this past Thursday night. With all that history between the two of them, how do you now kind of put that alliance out of the back of your mind and focus on the fact that in front of you is an individual that is either looking to take or keep you away from the World Championship?
I mean, it's another one of those friendship things, isn't it? You know, you've got that friendship, you've got that good relationship with your opponent, but at the end of the day, when the bell rings, it's all business. So feels to me like just another one of those situations where you really have to just focus on beating the man who's in front of you, even if you have that existing good relationship.
And while you had your match, we end up getting the announcement here, and I'll get your reaction. We are getting our Saturday night at Springfield once again, our next edition of it. However, with our PLEs moving to Sunday nights, it's Sunday night at Springfield, August 16th.
That will be an interesting stop, obviously with, the shift of PLEs and now Sunday night at Springfield, everything over to Sundays, obviously the travel thing and everything else that comes into play. So a lot of people are going to be really interesting to see if they can do something that's an extra stop. It's almost like an extra PLE added to the schedule.
It certainly is. And of course, we kind of call it a bit of a mini PLE. Our next official PLE will be taking place on August 23rd when we will be at Kingdom Jewel, and really this matchup and the upcoming matchup here moments away from that Universal Heavyweight Championship matchup, a lot of gravitas behind those matches because it could very well determine who goes into the champion versus champion matchups between Thursday Night Throwdown and Saturday Night Smash at that PLE.
That's a great point you brought up, and while you were in the middle of bringing up that point, you saw that move by Will Turner. That was impressive and connects with that attack to the outside to Robbie. That's your point, with those champion versus champion matchups happening with the world champions on both brands. This matchup right here could very well determine one half of that match. Interesting position to be in as well, too, because you kind of shift from having to defend the title to kind of establishing yourself as the more dominant champion.
Yeah, it's a complete different mentality in that type of a matchup for sure. You almost have the pressure of your peers watching on as you try and represent your brand.
I think Robbie was busted open by one of those moves there from Will Turner.
He might have a broken nose. I think that Bulldog there might have landed his face into the canvas, and it looks like his nose has been busted up. It's interesting, we ended up having that earlier matchup where we ended up seeing the wound to the eye and we talked about visibility problems. You end up having a broken nose mid-match. That makes it very difficult to breathe.
It does. My nose took a hit during the last matchup. I don't think it's broken, thankfully, but it definitely, it lingers for a while. So it's tough to kind of breathe through that whole situation, and hopefully Robbie's going to be able to work through it.
Robbie trying to fight through the pain, currently has the champion on the ropes, but there you see that champion's advantage. Turner rolling to the outside, and now he'll go all the way to the outside, courtesy of an enziguri. It's a great move by Robbie Gilvin. It has William Turner down, but again, the only way for him to claim the title is inside of the ropes.
He took a moment to rest, but now dropping Will Turner, his back right across the top of the barricade.
Referee Ernest Wright beginning that 10 count, currently at 3. Robbie Gilvin has to be aware of that. For William Turner, doesn't have to as much. Count out means the title would not change hands, whether it be a win or a loss.
Well, Turner seems to have gotten the upper hand here. He'll put Robbie back between the ropes, and now Turner going to jump over the top rope. He'll get himself back in here. Scores with that drop kick.
Oh, did not connect, though, with the springboard moonsault. And Gilvin now looking for the quick roll-up here. Grapevines the legs. Oh, yeah, good point. I couldn't tell, did he have the rope for leverage or not?
It looked like he grabbed it, but it looked like his hand was under the rope. Of course, it looks like Ernest Wright, though, did not determine that it was there, so no rope break was called for it, but the match continues regardless.
Backbreaker there to William Turner. Gilvin making his way up to the top rope. He'll hit that coup de grace straight into the midsection.
It's a little bit more devastating when you're wearing spurs.
Oh, yeah. Every time we see Robbie make his way over to a corner, you almost wonder if he could be setting up for that sweet chin music that has put away multiple opponents. That, of course, won him the Intercontinental Championship. We saw him end a feud with Ernie the Keebler. Elf is now laying in. Well, I don't know, can we call it the most overused move in fantasy wrestling entertainment? Because we haven't seen this in quite a while.
It's like people have taken a bit of a break from the 10 beats, but nevertheless, I think it's always good for the crowd getting to see those get brought in, so.
Not only those 10 beats of the batter him to the chest, but then that fall to the floor below. William Turner, pretty quick recovery though, as he actually puts Robbie back inside the ring instead of vice versa.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look out. Turner's gonna fly. Hurricane Rana to the outside.
Right in front of our entrance ramp. So he had a lot of space to work with. There was no real risk of running into the barricade there, but devastating move regardless. Crowd loves what they're seeing here, but Will Turner, he could be nearing the end of this thing.
This being a championship match, we've had maybe as much, if not more so, action outside of the ring than inside of the ring, as Turner from the second rope will score the double axe handle. Might have targeted right across the face, right across that nose, into the cover to retain the title, and Gilvin out at 1.
You mentioned all this action taking place outside the ring. I feel like that just does a good job of showing the ring awareness of both of these competitors. They're both doing the best they can to hit their big moves, hit all their stronger attacks, but at the same time, they're mindful of the referee's count.
Straight up forearm by Gilvin. Not sure where exactly he was thinking of going. Comes back inside of the ring. Turner with the Irish whip. Hurricane Rana takes Gilvin down, and now has Robbie stacked up in the corner. Uppercuts.
Corner offense.
Corner 619. Champion is rolling. Oh!
Oh!
That's the Davies Doom backstabber! And he's not done!
I'm looking for another one. We're looking to put him away with one more big move.
Another Davies Doom! Hooks the leg, hooks both legs to keep them away from the ropes! And it's enough to retain!
Here is your winner, and still man world champion, William Turner.
What a match. What a war.
William Turner makes good on his first official title defense. As you alluded to, he went to war tonight with Robbie Gilvin.
Those two showed up and showed out here at Fantasia, but Will Turner ultimately retains the Tri-Wizard Championship in his first title defense, and that could be the key to advancing to that champion versus champion match that we're going to have at Kingdom Jewel.
It certainly could, as William Turner of the Black Pearl crew celebrates tonight in Orlando, Florida. And as you mentioned, with retaining the title, going along with it is the possibility he could represent Thursday Night Throwdown at Kingdom Jewel. We may be moments away from finding out who his potential opponent may be.
That we could. We've had a fatal four-way tournament going down on Saturdays to determine the first ever Universal Heavyweight Champion. And the final fatal four-way between the four winners, Thor, Peter Pan, Cole Eastwood, and Levi McIntyre. That will be our main event here tonight at Fantasia.
Only one of these individuals, two of these individuals have held any type of belt in FWE. Cole Eastwood and Thor have held tag team titles. Tonight, for one of these four individuals, they will claim their first world championship. Well, Jack, you could make a lot of arguments as to why Levi McIntyre could be considered a favorite coming into this matchup. You just have to look at him to see the physical specimen, the strength and power that he will bring into play here. But I'll add in one other possible advantage. His fatal four-way qualifier was the first one. He has had the most recovery time leading up to this matchup.
That is a fantastic point when you consider the two men in this matchup had their matches yesterday to qualify. You know, he's certainly a lot more well-rusted than anybody else in this matchup. So Levi definitely going to have that stamina advantage over everybody else.
And his opponents, first accompanied by Anthony Mack, representing the Rockers from Virginia, weighing in at 160 pounds, Cole Eastwood.
Former tag team champions, the Rockers, and something else we kind of have to consider here with this being a fatal four-way match. Anthony out here at ringside could help Cole Eastwood to potentially claim the World Championship. There are no disqualifications in fatal four-way stipulations.
That is true, although I will say it is pretty good to see Anthony McCurry is out here supporting his tag team partner, even though Anthony was unsuccessful in his own qualifier matchup. We could have had both of them in this match.
You mentioned about Anthony unsuccessful in his qualifying matchup. This is the individual who ended up winning that fatal four-way, Peter Pan, and not to take anything away from him, but almost seemed like out of this entire tournament, the biggest underdog win so far.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm pretty sure Thanos was in his matchup. It was either him or Kratos. Yeah, it was Thanos. So that was incredible stuff out of him. So Pan has a lot of people to prove wrong here entering this matchup.
And accompanied by, representing the agents from Asgard, weighing in at 288 pounds, Troy!
Well, interesting scenario here. We saw Anthony McCurry out here in support of his tag team partner. Hulk does the same. If Thor is successful here tonight, both members of the Friends from Work will have held a World Championship. Remember, Hulk, a former holder of the Tri-Wizard Championship belt.
That is something that they probably have in the back of their minds as well. They want to have the distinction of, I think, being the first tag team to have both versions of the championship, or of a World Championship, at least at different times. Now, obviously not at the same time, since Hulk is no longer the Tri-Wizard champion, but still be a good accomplishment for these two nonetheless.
Take a look at this fatal four-way. It's almost as if somebody put a bracket together, they would have all been busted. Who do you think would have had Levi McIntyre, Cole Eastwood, Peter Pan, and Thor as the four individuals that would fight for the opportunity to be the very first Universal Heavyweight Championship? Four individuals that have never held a World Championship so far in their career.
It feels very fitting in a sense. Obviously, we probably didn't see it coming, but it's still a fitting matchup nonetheless. As you know, I got to tell you what, it kind of coming full circle to what I said at the very beginning of this show. It goes a long way to show how far we've come here in FWE. We had our first, two for the price of one there by Cole. You know, when we had our first matchup here, our first PLE, the very first version of Fantasia, we were still at the very first version of the Fantasy Dome. We didn't even have a separate venue for that PLE. Now we're here at Disney World, and our main event, we're fighting to determine our new first ever Universal Heavyweight Championship.
Absolutely insane. What a great way to bookend off the night as Peter Pan into the cover there, and Cole able to break it up early. We earlier on this evening to open up the night saw our very first Iron Queen champion as Jasmine claims her first World Championship. She defeated Elizabeth Swan. We now find out who's going to hold the biggest prize in the men's division on Saturday nights. Here is McIntyre with a running power slam on Peter Pan. And here's the thing too, with all four of these individuals, they come in on even ground in the fact that all four of them have already won a fatal four-way matchup.
Absolutely, they've had that experience, and there you can see Anthony McCurry kind of doing a little bit of chattering with Thor there, and
it paid dividends.
It did. Allowed Cole to recover and land those big moves, and now lands that bulldog on the Peter Pan. Good chance for him to go into the cover, but instead he just keeps the offense going.
Fatal four-way rules. You got to get a pinfall or a submission, but you got to have your head on a swivel, as well as Cole Eastwood with an SOS roll-up into the pin here on Peter, and almost stole the victory away in the early going.
Yeah, Levi was sprinting around to try to break that one up. He couldn't quite find the right area to do so, and it almost cost him.
Now the two powerhouses in this matchup. Look at that, just lifting Thor up like it's nothing and delivering snake eyes as, the blade cutter by Eastwood to Levi. But you notice he didn't even bother going for the cover because Peter Pan was up to his feet. He knew that Peter would break it up.
Hook just took the top turnbuckle pad
Oh,
off.
wait a minute!
Here.
Could Peter Pan steal another one? Oh, kick out at 2!
That would have been a heist if Peter Pan were to win the title right then and there.
Keep an eye towards our side of the ring. I believe Hulk moments ago went up and removed one of those turnbuckle pads. That turnbuckle was exposed, and now he's up on the apron, jawing with Cole Eastwood. As Levi, looking for the package pile driver, no, instead reversed into a Hurricane Rana.
Impressive reversal there by Cole. Kick there from Peter breaks up that attack though, whatever that was planning to be. Oh man.
Modified
first, face first in the ring mat.
A modified flatliner there by Peter Pan, and now, looked like Levi and Thor were gonna have a little alliance right there, and Peter Pan says a meeting of the minds for the both of you.
Oh, Levi!
My gosh!
What a move there to take down Peter Pan.
I mean, Peter Pan can fly, but I don't think he wanted any help. Oh, look at that. Thor's in the tree of woe. Oh! SOS there as Levi missed the headbutt. Thor is tied up. And Cole Eastwood wins. What the heck?
Completely stole that one.
Here is your winner, and new, the Universal Heavyweight Champion, Cole Eastwood.
Well, sometimes in Fatal 4-Ways you have to be good, sometimes you have to be lucky. Eastwood was both, and it claims him his first World Championship.
How about that? He capitalized, he got that opportunity at the last moment, and he's going to end the night hoisting the belt as the first ever Universal Heavyweight Champion here in FWE.
Cole Eastwood will carry that belt into Saturday night. Jasmine, the Iron Queen champion, on Thursday nights. It will be amazing to see the fallout of tonight and how it will impact our upcoming PLE at Crown Jewel. Thanks for joining us here tonight at Fantasia.